Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be visiting with Kara again from 24 Karat, and today she's going to be talking about a video she calls Day 7, the Franken-diet. Tell me if this applies to you.
Hello, it's day 7, and I want to talk about the Franken-diet. To anybody who's following along, you and me may be on the same journey, like we're walking through the same woods, but we're not on the same path. What I lay out as my steps and rules, they may not necessarily work for you. Don't feel like you have to take any of the steps that I'm laying out as gospel. So, number 1, first tenet of the Franken-diet. No food is off limits. I can eat whatever I want at whatever time I want. That means if I want a boiled egg at midnight, we're having a boiled egg at midnight. If I want M&Ms for breakfast, which sounds gross, but believe me, there have been days. If I want M&Ms for breakfast, we're having M&Ms for breakfast. There's no restriction on time or type of food. Number 2, the hardest one for me. I am only going to be eating when I'm hungry, and I'm going to stop eating when I'm full. I don't have a great understanding of my hunger cues or my fullness cues. I know that generally when I'm hungry, my stomach will rumble, but I don't really have a very good sense of when I'm full yet. So this is going to be a challenging one that I want to talk more about at a later date. Number 4, I'm going to be recording what I eat in a notebook, a physical notebook. After the other day when I was talking about calorie counters, I thought to myself, maybe it would be good to just record what I'm eating in the notes of my phone. But I think I want an actual notebook. Not only because carrying around the notebook will remind me of what I'm doing, like a physical reminder. So I'd much rather have a notebook that I could just plop on the bookshelf once it's complete. Something that I can go back and look at if I need to. And number 5, another hard one. I'm going to start treating myself like a skinny person. There are a lot of things that I swore I would do when I became skinny. A lot of things that I said. There were a lot of things I said I would do once I became fit. A lot of things I said I would do once I got skinny. And I never got to do them. And I've been putting them off for decades now. Like literally decades, since I was like 10 or 15 years old.
She's definitely in her mid-30s because people in their mid-20s and younger, they don't deal with notebooks and pad and paper, right? And putting stuff on the shelf, right? It's all on their phone or on their iPad or whatever the case might be, right? Second off, I really think it's interesting how she talks about her up and downs and her experiences and stuff. And she's able to pull into this vault of information that the other YouTubers just don't bother sharing.
Things like dating. Things like buying new clothes. Things like going out in public. Speaking to people. Dancing. Things that I swore I would do once I was in the body I wanted. But since I'm not chasing that skinny body anymore, I'm just going to start doing them. It's going to be hard. My self-esteem is going to take a hit, but I'm very tired of putting things off just because of the way I look. So that's the Franken-diet.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with her, but my thinking is if you're going to wait for some magical day that never comes, it's not worth waiting for. You want to do it now, sooner rather than later, because there might come a time in your life where you want to do something like go to a certain place. And if you wait for a day that never comes, you'll end up going to that place when you're too old to really enjoy it. Guys, the reason there's restrictions on diets is because we've all grown up in this world where we never restrict ourselves. We never really try to slow down our roll, so to speak. And I don't think that's a good thing. Restriction isn't necessarily a horrible word if you can kind of work your way up to it. The thing that makes things tough is we jump off a cliff and we expect to be able to succeed that way. Quit jumping off cliffs and instead get into the baby step movement. A lot of the venters that have been walking with me for months have stayed walking with me because we preach baby steps.
Hello, it's day 311, and I want to talk about dying young. Yeah, it's going to be one of those videos today. So look, I have made no secret on this channel that I'm kind of an unhappy person. I'm pretty sad most of the time, and I've never had a point in my life where I could look at myself in the mirror and be like, you know what, I'm proud of her. I'm happy to be her. And the reason for that is because for my entire life I've been fat. And when you're fat, one of the consolation prizes you get, part of the package, shall we say, is this constant reminder that you're gonna die young. Yes, there's heart attacks, and there's cancer, and there's diabetes. Your knees are just going to crumble and fall out from underneath of you, and that's something that you have to look forward to. No need to look up the research on it because you're going to be reminded constantly. It's going to be on the news, your doctor is going to tell you about it, the people in your life are going to tell you about it, you're going to read about it on the internet, you're going to hear jokes about it in movies. It is everywhere. And I think what people don't realize, like normal sized people, the thing they don't realize is we know, but the much more pressing issue for most fat people isn't your impending doom, because if you get to that point where your blood turns to Pepsi from the diabetes and your knees just crumble into ashes as you're running on the treadmill, if you get to that point, you've kind of made an achievement, because the much bigger issue for most of us is self-esteem. And this is going to be a little bit hard to explain. But when you're a fat person, you're taught to expect a little bit less from everyone. Don't expect very much from your boyfriend because you're fat, you know, and you're lucky to just have a boyfriend. Don't expect too much support from your friends because you're lucky to just be in that friend group, that they're taking pity on you. Don't expect much from your healthcare provider because there's only so much they can do. Don't expect very much from your gym because yes, you're allowed to use the facilities, but you know, there's other people and you know, you're more at a beginner level, so maybe you should be over here. Like, we get shuffled around an awful lot.
Damn, what a beautiful rant. She sounds like she's the head of NBC News. She's got talent coming out the wazoo. And if there is somebody whose family might have caused their weight gain, it's Kara. It's amazing how many of her videos have one view. She is able to put things into words that I think the whole community of people that need to lose weight are going through.
It does take a toll. I used to think this was a really simple problem. I used to think that the solution was just lose the weight, and you can just like click it off like a light switch. All of those problems are just going to evaporate from your life. But as I've gotten older, and especially as I've started intuitive eating, I'm getting a little bit worried that the permanent damage is too much to even be smoothed over if I do end up losing weight. I am losing weight right now. Like, I haven't weighed myself, but I can tell there's things happening to my body that I'm not certain that I'm super comfortable with. Like, have you ever played a video game where you have to create your own character and you can spend hours there, you know, pulling on the sliders and pushing things in, slimmer jawline, tinier nose, make the lips a little bit bigger, you know, to bring that skinniness bar all the way skinny. But like, if I were sitting there in God's character creation menu, what would I change about myself? Have you ever like actually sat down and tried to picture what you will look like? Not just in like abstract, like, yes, I will be skinnier and, you know, my jawline will pop out and it will be so great. Have you actually like tried to picture that person? Because I've been trying to do that lately and I'm not sure I'm really comfortable with who that person's going to be. I don't really know what to do at this point because I feel like I've lost sight of all of my goals. I set out like really purposeful on this channel, and now I feel like I'm just backsliding into a really unhappy place. I think I'm going to lose weight. I think I'm going to lose weight pretty steadily now that I've been doing intuitive eating and I've kind of gotten the hang of it. And I am afraid of that. I'm afraid of what that's going to become. I used to laugh at people like myself. I used to listen to fat people say things like, you know what, you can call me whatever you want, but I know that I'm happy with who I am. And I used to look at those people and be like, Yeah, but not really, right? I know the truth. I'm fat like you, and I know how you really feel about yourself. Like, what a transparent projection. Like, I used to hate fat people with the best of them. I used to hate women with the best of them because, I hated myself. And I don't know what to do with myself now. I've been getting to the point where I go out by myself on the weekends now. No companion, no goal. I just go out and I just see where I end up. I'm trying to learn who I am. I don't even know what my personality is beyond just fat girl. Like, where do I end up? I don't end up where I thought I would. I don't end up at bakeries and bars and ice cream shops and coffee shops. I end up at, like, parks and garden centers and libraries. Places I didn't really know that I liked to go, I guess. And it's scary to learn who you are when for so long all you've been is just fat.
Wow. Again, a beautiful rant. Let me ask you guys at home this, and maybe you can tell me in the comment section below. Do you guys feel like this? Can you guys commiserate with her? Do you know what it's like to just have so many negative thoughts from family members to diets to my health? Oh, I'm going to die early because I'm overweight. When you hear these things, all they do is add up and equate to more and more stress. We got to find a way to get rid of this stress. Well, I have a great idea. Why don't you go get your shoes on? Let's go for a walk. Good morning, Venters. How are you? Guys, this is day 89. Wow, this 90-day challenge went incredibly fast. And let's talk about that for a while. You know, a lot of times when we think about things that happen quickly, especially when it comes to dieting, we think about fad diets and crash diets and things that work in 1 to 10 days. And guys, all those things end up disappearing and end up not being worth it. Number one, if you do a 10-day crash diet, it's probably a miserable diet that you're not really going to enjoy, right? Number two, because you lost so much weight so quickly, a good percentage of it is probably water weight, no matter how you slice or dice it. So let's say in 5 to 10 days you lose 5 to 10 pounds. You probably really only lost 3 to 6 pounds. And then right when you start eating like normal, there's probably a good chance that most of it pops right back on. So then you got to ask yourself, do I really want to do a diet where all I eat is lemons or watermelon or, this, that, and the other for specific days in a row? And usually you'll find that the answer is an emphatic no. As a matter of fact, if you watch any videos on fad or crash diets, it looks like the percentage of success on them appears high in the interim, but the long term, it looks like it's very, very low because most videos and most experts on the subject usually will tell you it's not worth it. I'm on the side of it might be worth it if you have something important to go to on a weekend, like let's say an anniversary dinner, or you're meeting up with friends and you're going to take pictures, or maybe it's someone's wedding where there's going to be you in a photograph somewhere, right? Or a video of the wedding, and those are things that I could definitely see you going ahead and doing some sort of weird fad diet for X amount of days, I don't know if you guys know, but we haven't walked this way in probably a good 2 or 3 weeks, so I used to walk this way a little bit more often. It's the same route, just backwards. Guys, I'm really, really excited about Kara from 24 Karat. Let me tell you guys a little bit about her channel, because I have a feeling that not many people have visited her channel. Guys, she reminds me of chronically Stephanie, who we kind of took a look at for the first couple of weeks when I started the first 90-day challenge. And the reason I say she reminds me of Stephanie is because where Stephanie had a couple hundred views on certain videos. This girl has 0, 1, or 2 views, which just blew me away because every video seems very 100% legit. Every video seems like it's her pouring her heart out. And could you imagine doing a video where you tell people that you have no friends and that you're extremely lonely and you would love for somebody to do an exercise routine with you? And just imagine shouting that out off the rooftops or from the rooftops, and then imagine no answer, no reply, just crickets. And it's just really, really sad because, guys, what I'm looking at when I watch her videos, it strikes me as something that in the 90s when I was growing up, you might have watched it on a 2020 expose. You might have watched some sort of situation where, a small show, well, not that 2020 was small, but like a popular TV show, would maybe run a story on this for multiple weeks in a row. She seems like somebody whose story should be told. She's taken a full year of somebody that feels overweight and not happy about themselves, feels alone. It's basically the tragedy of the modern day person. We're in this world where everybody's attached to social media, yet we're all disassociated from each other. We're all detached. We're all lonely as heck. And don't get me wrong, some of us have tons of friends and still feel lonely, Now, I'll tell you, one of the things that helps me when I am dealing with a lonely moment is I have the venters. I can go on my YouTube channel, and Facebook is the same way, and I can reach out to friends at any time. I could reach out to friends that I have in my phone to see if they want to go to the gym or want to go out to lunch or this, that, and the other. But there's a lot of people out there that don't really have that. And I got to be honest with you, a lot of my friends were from friends back in the day, right? Were back in the day friends with me where I've known them for a long time. But guys, it's not like I'm 25 years old anymore. And it's not like I really necessarily enjoy or think about their company anymore. And I think a lot of us have gotten into that. One of the things that Kara talked about was that back in the 90s, she would go to stores like Torrid in the mall, these plus size stores. But when she went in there, she always hated it because they never had good selections. And when she went into Dillard's, there's these really pretty clothes for the people, that had a slimmer body. But then for her body type, there was never anything that really looked good. And I think that's why a lot of times we'll see kind of obese people and they're just wearing comfortable clothes, a giant t-shirt or whatever the situation might be. Now, from a guy's point of view, it's kind of okay to be a big bear type person, right? Like, nobody really thinks much of a guy that's big. And there's even places like Big and Tall stores for men, right? But for women, a lot of times, if you're big and you want to see cute clothes, you almost have to go to the maternity section. And I know, as well as you guys know, nobody wants to really go to the maternity section. Guys, look at this. Looks like a poop from an eagle. I think an eagle did a giant bird poop there. Thank God I didn't step into that bad boy. Hey, if you're brand new, in 2 days, tomorrow's going to be our 90th day, our final day, right? Where I'm going to do my weigh-in. But in 2 days, we're going to start a brand new 90-day walking challenge. Now, if some of you have been doing a walking challenge with me for the past 90 days, and you need to take a day off to let your feet rest, right? Go for it. Enjoy your day off. You earned it, right? But if you're brand new, you've been watching the show for a time or two, you've probably started to realize that after the beginning reaction videos, I like to take a walk with people and try to get them motivated to walk regularly. So if you're contemplating walking, please grab your shoes. It's never too late. Get outside. Is it hot as heck out here? Yeah, it's the summertime, right? It's getting warmer and warmer each day. But you know what? It's going to make losing weight feel that much more better, So let's do this together. I'm here with you every single day. If you do the plan to a T, you should be able to lose close to 20 to 30 pounds. A lot of our venters haven't quite lost 30 pounds, but a lot of our venters are still dealing with a little bit of sugar addiction problems. Oh my God, they've got some wild punk music from Europe. Sounds like Czechoslovakian music or something. I have no idea what Czechoslovakian sounds like, but it's not English, whatever that music is. So, guys, let's talk a little bit about our diet and exercise plan for new people, because I haven't really said the rules and stuff. So let's go over the rules real quick, and we'll probably go over this again in another day or two. We have 4 rules in our plan. Rule number 1 is we walk 7 days a week. We walk every single day. Now, Jesse, that sounds a little intimidating for somebody that's not working out at all. You want us to join your plan, your little challenge here. Your challenge is for 90 days. You want me to walk each and every day of the 90? Yes, I do, Bob. Here's the thing. Because you walk every single day, you can take a day off of walking whenever you'd like, okay? The truth is, even if you didn't walk every single day in a challenge, you're walking every single day to the kitchen, to the bathroom, to the TV, to the remote control, to your job, right? You're walking. So to walk every day is actually just an extension of what you already do naturally, okay? And let's be honest, when most of us walk to the kitchen or the bathroom, we're not really looking at it like exercise. So if we can get you into a walking routine, and if you enjoy it as much as us venters do, you'll quickly realize that it doesn't really feel like exercise at all. It actually feels like a treat that you're rewarding yourself with. And I don't think you've ever had an exercise or diet routine that feels like it's a reward. In this case, hopefully it does, okay? Or hopefully it will. Rule number 2, we drink nothing but water or unsweetened drinks, okay? I know right now you're drinking 2 coffees a day with cream and sugar. I know that more than likely you're drinking 2 or 3 sweet drinks, whether they be sodas or sweet tea or sweet juices, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to take a food audit of everything that you're eating and drinking through the day. Keep it on a piece of paper, or if you absolutely don't want to write stuff down, keep an idea of what you eat on the daily in your head, okay? The reason we drink water every day is because by drinking water, it naturally lowers our sugar intake. What do you mean, Jesse? Well, if we can substitute a couple of your sodas that you drink on the daily for glasses of water, and we don't have to do it right away. We're going to baby step into this, guys, but it'll ultimately cause a situation where you'll be drinking less calories, and if you combine that with our daily walk, hopefully you'll start losing some weight, and it's that easy. Everything that you've eaten in your life has all accumulated to make you the person that you are today. So we're not going to start with 0 calories, and we're not going to say, hey, if you're a woman, I want you to eat close to 2,000 calories a day, and if you're a man, I want you to eat close to 25 or 3,000 calories a day. No, we're not going to start from 0 like that. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at your food intake and your drinks now, and we're going to slowly but surely subtract those sweets, subtract some of those sugary drinks. We're going to fix some of those meals so they're a little bit healthier, and then we're going to walk. And what we're going to see is a situation where all these things come together, and we're going to lose a lot of weight. Now, Jesse, you just said we're going to lose 20 to 30 pounds, but a lot of the venters have only lost 5, 6, 10 pounds. That's true. Some of us lose weight a little bit slower. It gets a little bit more challenging, but once the scale starts tipping in our favor, things are going to snowball. Things are going to get easier. And a lot of our venters haven't necessarily quit sugar yet. One of the keys is you got to be able to quit sugar for at least a couple of months in a row so that you can kind of get to the point where your body is feeding off of the fat that's already attached to it. Okay? So let's go over those first two rules again. Number one, we walk 7 days a week. Because we walk 7 days a week, you can take a day off from walking whenever you'd like. Okay? Number two, we drink nothing but water or unflavored drinks. So if you want to drink coffee without sugar in it, that's great, that's fine. If you want to drink unsweetened tea, that's great, that's fine. Even if you want to do a squirt of lemon in your water, again, that's great, that's fine. Because you drink water every single day for every single meal, you're allowed to take a day or a meal off of water whenever you'd like, okay? You don't have to ask me permission. You just have to give yourself permission, okay? And if you end up giving yourself permission and having a day where you drink a couple Cokes or a couple Pepsis, here's a little sub rule that you need to obey. You can't beat yourself up. It's not cheating when you do that. It's life, because occasionally we're going to be in a business lunch and somebody's going to offer us a soda and we're going to be thirsty, and water might not be an option. It usually is, but it might not be. And heck, sometimes you want a Coke, okay? Because you drink water nonstop, if special occasions pop up or if a weak moment pops up and you want to drink a Coke, that's okay. But you have to forgive yourself, okay? Forgive yourself and move on, because the reality is, guys, a Coca-Cola is no big deal, okay? It's just no big deal in the grand scheme of life. So let's quit thinking of things like these are big deals, because big deals are the reason we quit our workouts, okay? Rule number 3, we avoid sugar at all times, okay? If you avoid sugar, guess what happens to your drinks? You naturally have water and unsweetened tea and unsweetened coffee as an option, okay? So the water and the sugar rule, no matter how you slice it or dice it, they go hand in hand, okay? But the sugar rule is absolutely no different than the water rule from or the walking rule, from the standpoint of, because you avoid sugar every single day, you are allowed to have sugar whenever you want, okay? When you break a rule, we look at rule number 4. Rule number 4 is the 2/3 rule. Jesse, what's the 2/3 rule? Guys, the 2/3 rule is really what makes our plan the best plan, in my opinion. The 2/3 rule states that if you look at the first 3 rules, walking every day, drinking water, and avoiding sugar, whenever you break one of those 3 rules, obey the 2/3 rule, which states you're going to listen and obey the other 2 rules, okay? So if you don't walk for a particular day, you're still going to drink water that day, and you're still going to avoid sugar. Does that make sense? You're going to obey 2 of the 3 rules. If you don't drink water for 1 or 2 drinks during the day, it's one of those special days where you decide, I'm going to give myself a Coke or a Pepsi or a sweet tea, right? Then what you're going to do is, right after you enjoy your Coke, your Pepsi, or your sweet tea, you're going to immediately go right back to water. You're going to take a walk just like you normally would, and you're going to avoid sugar for the rest of the day and hopefully the rest of the week like you normally would, okay? And then finally, if you decide that, hey, I'm drinking water, I'm going on a walk, but it's my birthday today and I'm going to have a slice of cake. Good for you, you deserve it, right? Enjoy your slice of cake. But right when you're done with your desserts for that day, because heck, it's your birthday, you might decide to have 2 or 3 pieces of cake. Again, the rule is, don't feel guilty. Enjoy your cake. It's not a cheat, it's just a part of life, okay? There's going to be sweets that go across your palate over the course of the next 20 or 30 years, okay? So again, if you eat cake, drink water, and keep walking. That's the 2/3 rule. Now, if you would have obeyed this rule for the last 20 years, you'd probably be in really good shape. The reason we have the 2/3 rule is because nobody can walk every single day, avoid sugar every single day, and drink nothing but water, except for 1 in 100 type people, okay? There's always going to be 1%ers that can do things, right? There's always going to be these people that have the ability to do darn near impossible things. But right now in our lives, that person's not you or me. We're human, okay? And as a human, one of the problems with diet and exercise plans, just like what we talked about before with these 24-hour fad and crash diets, as a human, we quit these things left and right. You know, part of a 10-day diet is the fact that on the 11th day, you're off of it, right? So even these small little 2-week diet plans with lemons and watermelons and sardines and eggs, these things are designed for you to quit them in a handful of days. You know what I mean? So even when you accomplish a 10-day fast of some sort, you're still quitting at the end, and you're still gaining that weight back. And it ends up being a big waste of your time. So these small little diets and these exercise plans that we come up with, they're kind of temporary measures. We ultimately got to find a way to do something forever. So what's the problem with walking forever? Well, if you really think about it on a deep level, we have family, and we have a job, and we have emergency situations. These 3 things are the reason why most people end up either quitting their diet and exercise routine, or they end up having big moments where they're away from their diet and exercise routine. So instead of having your job and your family as a reason for you to quit your diet, we need to come up with a way where your job and family can be a catalyst for your diet, okay? So how do we do that, Jesse? Well, let's say your job is one where it's from 8 to 5, okay? Normally you're gonna get out of your house, and correct me if I'm wrong, but normally you're gonna get into your vehicle at around 7:30 and you're gonna head off to your job, right? Well, what if you got out the house at 6:45, 45 minutes earlier, and you took a half-hour walk before you actually went to work? And what if you did that Monday through Friday, just like you do every day for work? All of a sudden, your job is going to be the catalyst for your workout routine rather than an excuse or reason why you can't work out that day. Okay? The tough days to work out, especially if you get a Monday through Friday routine, are actually going to be on Saturday and Sunday. But that's where I would urge you to stick with the same routine. Wake up at 7 in the morning, just like you normally would. But instead of getting ready to hop into the car and go to work, you're just going to take a walk. And Saturday and Sunday are going to be the easiest days where we can employ Kaizen. Jesse, what the heck is Kaizen? What the hell did you say? Guys, Kaizen is a Japanese philosophy based on baby steps. That through small baby steps, we can acquire massive growth. We can get massive production. We can do things great, just one baby step at a time. So on Saturday and Sunday, if you can get over the idea that these are my lazy, non-productive days and you can get out and walk, you can start to employ extra credit. Okay, what's Kaizen and extra credit? Give us an idea, Jesse. Okay, Kaizen is baby steps. If you walk for a half hour each day and you never quit soda, right? So you're not drinking water, you're drinking soda. And if you never ever try quitting sugar, then in essence you're doing one baby step in life. You're walking. What that's going to help you do is it's going to help you maintain your weight. So if you're 230 pounds now, you don't want to change your diet, don't want to do any of that, but you want to walk every day, yeah, you'll be a little bit healthier. Yeah, you should be able to maintain your current weight without going up any more weight, right? But you're probably not going to lose too much weight. What we need to employ here is a baby step, okay? So what we're going to do is, in addition to the walking, we're going to start walking extra on Saturday and Sunday, okay? So on Saturday and Sunday, you're going to do your normal half-hour walk. But eventually you're going to bump that up to 45 minutes to an hour. So let's break down what I'm talking about just here in the last 15 minutes. Imagine a world where over the last 15 or 20 years, you had been drinking predominantly water. Imagine a world where every day you went out to your job in the morning, you would have taken a half-hour walk. Imagine a day and imagine a life where over the last 15 or 20 years, you would have drastically reduced your sugar intake. If you think about that and you're able to put that together in your imagination, guys, what that equates to is a person that would look nothing like you do today. Now, we don't have a time machine, right? We cannot go back and make you take those daily walks. It's impossible. But what we can do is going forward, we can get into this routine. And it's a heck of a lot easier than you might think because of Kaizen, All right, I was able to get in the shade there for a minute because it's hot out here, guys. It must be pushing 90 already. And my battery overheated, so I had to do a battery switch out. All right, well, most people don't walk around with a couple batteries in their pockets, but one of the things that I've learned on my walks throughout the years is that there's absolutely no reason why we can't be proactive. Guys, when you're proactive versus reactive, you can really start to change your life. And walking has a really good way of kind of bringing you in the moment. And because you're walking and your blood is flowing through your veins really well, right? Your brain will be stimulated with ideas that are far superior than ideas that you come up with just sitting on your couch in front of the TV eating popcorn or chips all day, okay? What you'll find is that you're able to think by jumping into your think tank, right? And you'll start to realize that, hey, Jesse is right. There's something really unique and special about my daily walk. It doesn't feel like exercise. And when something doesn't feel like exercise, you actually enjoy doing it, okay? When you do have an exercise routine, it's really easy to not enjoy it. It's really easy to not like it, okay? If you cut out your 4 or 5 Coca-Colas today and drink nothing but water, which is what a lot of times we as people do when we jump into a diet and exercise routine, we end up despising our diet and exercise routine, and it actually makes us enjoy and love our Coca-Cola even more, okay? That's how diets are. When you try to jump into them, you need to employ Kaizen. You need to be okay with baby steps. You need to be okay with diets not taking 5 or 10 days, but taking 90 days to a million days. And what I mean by that is you want a diet that's not a diet at all. And you want an exercise plan that's not really an exercise plan at all. We're always told that you need to make health a part of your lifestyle. The easiest way in the world to actually make exercise a part of your lifestyle is to ditch the gym, ditch the weights, ditch everything that you've ever thought of, and just go on a daily walk every single day for the rest of your life, okay? And that does not start by you going out on a 2-hour power walk every day starting now. It starts off by you taking a 10 to 15 minute walk in the mornings, ideally before work, okay? If you absolutely don't want to walk before work, almost all of us have a half-hour to 1-hour time slot for our lunch at work. Imagine if over the last 5 or 10 years, you had taken advantage of that 30 minutes or 60 minutes, and imagine if you would have eaten your food, which most of us can eat our food in 10 or 15 minutes, right? Imagine if with every lunch that you ever ate, you would have balanced it out with a 15 to half-hour walk, right? You probably would be about 15 or 20 pounds less than you weigh currently, okay? So we're gonna find a way for you to walk. If you refuse to walk before work, you can walk during your lunch break. If you refuse to walk before or during your lunch break, then you're only left with one option: after work. Here's the problem with that option. A lot of times work has a way of draining us, both physically and mentally. And I'm telling you guys, if work drains you, there's a good chance you're going to quit your walking routine if you're relying on your energy levels after work, okay? And even if work doesn't physically drain you, what if you have an argument with Dale or Karen? Dale and Karen at work, the people you don't get along with, they have a real way of zapping you, you know? So again, let's see if we can start walking just 10 or 15 minutes a day with me. And here's my request of you. I'm going to be here every day, whether you're here or not. But I'm asking you if you can give me 15 to 21 days of walking with me in a row. And I'm going to be very honest with you. It takes 15 to 21 days for human beings to usually create a routine that becomes habitual. In other words, if you give me 15 to 21 days with this walk, I think I can get you addicted to it. And if I get you addicted to this walk, that might be just that transfer addiction that you need to get off your sugar and food addiction. So believe it or not, there's a method to the madness. And there's so much more that I'd like to talk with you about, but we're done with our walk for the day. If you have a little extra time, keep walking. That's extra credit, and that's always a plus. But I wish you a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.